today we are going to learn about approval framework. You will learn how approval framework works in PeopleSoft, what is AWE, what is approval framework. And today's session is going to be a lot of learning for you guys. We have tried to create this session in such a way so that it's easier for you to grasp these concepts. You may have heard of these things in your PeopleSoft related career. Let's see. Let's take a quick vote and see how much you know. So have you heard about approval framework or AWE before? Just type in the chat window yes or no so that we know about this. Yes, yes. Valentina says no. Fredo says yes, 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 yes. Wow, so many yeses. Nice. Yes, no, no, yes, yes. Wow. Okay, so many of you know about approval framework or have heard of it. Some of you are quite new to it, so this is going to be a good session for you. So what about, have you set up approval processes in PeopleSoft? So those of you who mentioned yes, do you know how to set up PeopleSoft approval processes? Again, type in the chat window quickly. No, yes, yes, no, no, yes, no. Okay. Okay, good. Good mix of people. So now, are you ready to run all that? Are you ready to run about the approval processes with PeopleSoft? Of course you are, right? That's why you are here. That's why you signed up for this session, because you want to learn about approval framework and what we have to share with you today. So without a further delay, we will start the session. But because you joined this session and we want you to learn the most out of this session, we have created a workbook for you. So download this workbook. The link for this workbook was also sent in the email. If you didn't get a chance to look at your email or download it, you can download it right now. Go to peoplesoftutorial.com/AWE workbook and you can download this workbook and print it out. It will help you in taking the notes during the session. So you will be able to take the notes. So it will increase your retention. So it's not like that you have to simply attend the session and after the session you will forget those things. This workbook will help you remembering all those things and you can take notes. We have already added few points for you in that workbook. So go to peoplesoftutorial.com/AWE workbook and you can download it from there. And also we have a free bonus for all of you at the end of this webinar. So if you stay till the end, you will get this free bonus, which is a nice guide which will help you understand our approval framework. So without further delay anymore, I'm going to transfer the control back to your trainer. Arnav, are you there? I just transferred the control to you, so you should be able to present now.
Yeah, hi Prashant. My screen visible?
Yes, you're all good. Just if you want to maximize the window. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining approval framework session today and welcome you all. So as Prashant mentioned, today's session will be focused on approval framework. We will be discussing how approval framework works in PeopleSoft, why we need it, how and what to be done with the help of approval framework. So this would be the agenda for today's session. We'll start with some introduction, then we'll see the usage and functionality of approval framework. We'll see what all key roles are involved in the implementation and working of approval framework. We'll see the high level of design lifecycle for approval framework. Then we'll discuss two type of implementation, header level and line level. And then we will see some of the delivered approval framework examples which is delivered by PeopleSoft. So we'll try to cover journal approval and ChartField request page. So starting with the first slide, approval framework introduction. So we try to divide it in why, what, how, when, and who. So approval framework, I guess all of us have worked on approval framework, maybe not as a business analyst or consultant or implementer, but definitely as a user. We must have uh, submitted approval request or maybe approved approval request, not in the PeopleSoft or maybe in other system, but the basic understanding is clear that we need approval framework in the situations where we want more than one parties to be involved to review and approve particular transaction. So when we say transaction could be anything. It could be a journal, it could be a requisition, a new hire, any particular promotion or chart field, etc. So it could be anything where we need more than one person or one department to be involved to review, approve, and then definitely finally that request to be go in the next level. So why we need it? To facilitate approval process by automatically triggering workflow notification to inform the next approver in the process of work awaiting them. So that is the key for approval framework, that it will help you to automatically trigger workflow notification. So how another party or person will know that something is coming in his way? Because we are setting up our system in such a way that it will automatically trigger a workflow notification. It could be a So it could be an email notification or worklist notification. It could be anything. Now what we need, what to be done? Transactions submitted in the system that require multiple approvers. At that place we need approval framework. And how? We need to design approval process to decide workflow steps to be executed for the transaction to approve. So different kind of transaction require different level of approvals and different kind of setups. Sometimes a particular transaction or say a requisition approval required it to be sent to various approvals, and maybe it is based on conditions, the amount of the requisition. Based on that we need to decide that on which level and how many approvals are required. So how is the way we design it? In PeopleSoft, we call it approval framework or approval workflow engine. And how it is different from the previous version of the approval framework, that I guess we used to call it approval workflow, that now most of the things are configured from the front end. So business analyst who doesn't have much understanding of the application designer or coding part can also configure it as per the request and the user requirement. So the process of setting up approval framework in PeopleSoft from version 9.2 is become very simple and more user friendly. And when any approval next level to be triggered, that also we can configure with the help of approval framework. So the design of approval framework now in PeopleSoft is in such a way that we can set it up in many ways. We'll see in the usage and functionality that what kind of requirement we can cover by designing approval framework. So when any particular notification to be triggered, that also we can control in various ways. Now who should be the approver? Approver user list can be set up based on user roles, SQL or dynamic conditions. based on transaction details. So we can decide that who should be the approver. It could be user roles, SQL, or dynamic conditions. So we have various methods to decide the approvers list. Let's discuss how we use and what are the various usage of approval framework. So just to keep all of us on the common page, let's keep in mind that we are talking about a particular transaction, say expense. So we are thinking about a page where we can submit our expenses, and from that, after submission, it will go for various level of approvals. So that is the common example we will follow in the whole presentation. So approve or deny individual line items in a transaction. So say that we have an expense request where we want some accessories for our workstation. Say we want a monitor, a keyboard, a mouse. So all those things we can add in one expense request, or maybe we can just add one item per expense request. So this usage says that approve or deny individual line items in a transaction. So that particular expense request is only having one transaction which can be approved and denied, which is the simplest way of setting up approval framework. Another requirement could be, or usage could be, approve or deny multiple line items in a transaction. So there could be two transaction items within the same expense request. So say a keyboard and mouse. These two requests sent by the user for approval. Now system will provide capability for approver to either approve both of them or approve one of them and deny other. So that is the other functionality and the strength of this process. Include multiple approvers for individual steps. In later slides, we will see that we can design our approval framework in a way that it could have many stages, which is further segregated in paths and further segregated in steps. So once we submit a request, it may go for various steps and stages and paths. So within the same step, we can have various approvers, and it is up to us to design so that we can decide whether we need all the approvers to approve, or say one approver is enough, or at least two approvers are required to move to the next level. So all those kind of configuration can be simply performed from the approval process setup page in PeopleSoft, and that to be done from the front end, so it is easier to configure and test. Assign additional approvers or reviewers during the approval process. So say consider that this is the original approval process. Now during the process, or in particular special conditions, if administrator will decide that we should have more approvers, so he can simply add more approvers within the cycle. That option is available basically. Escalate approvals. So if this is the process and say approval 2 is not responding within the time frame, so an automatic notification will be sent to another alternate approver, or maybe the manager of approver 2, so that he can either approve or deny or take proper action in this scenario. So this thing will be automated as well, that after say 24 hours, if a second approver won't reply, then escalate it to some other person. not only approve and deny options are there, there would be further more options available, say pushback, hold, or ask for review again by the previous approver. So all those capabilities are provided by Approval Framework or Approval Workflow Engine, AWE. So we will use both the terms interchangeably. Reassign approver. Administrator of the approval framework have capabilities to reassign approvers in case of in situation when, say, approver is on vacation or left the job or may not be available for a particular transaction to approve. So in that scenario, admin person for that approval framework can reassign to another alternate approver. Use Worklist and email notification. So this is, I would say, this is the core of approval framework, that we have capability to send mails, receive mails, and check our work list and approve things or deny things from the work list itself. Also there could be further advanced level of configuration from where you can either approve or deny particular transaction from the email itself. So all those capabilities are provided by PeopleSoft and can be configured easily. So before going further, I would like to ask you guys, what is your current role? So on high level, I would say, can you type in your chat window whether you are a developer, technical person, business analyst, functional, or acting as an end user? End user could be the head of the departments or the people who are more on the operational side. You can type 1, 2, or 3. That would do. I got 1 from Sanika.
So I see multiple developers, functional, business analyst, developer, administrator, one senior functional, technical admin. So we have people from all the 3 different categories.
So that is great. So this approval framework is what I mean, we guys have we people have set up a lot of trainings, but this particular topic, approval framework, is the one where we need all the people involved in implementation. So whether you are developer, business analyst, or end user, all of us have role in approval framework setup. So if I will start with approval developer, what is the role of approval developer for approval framework? He is responsible for setup transaction registry page. So this is one of the items we mentioned on the high level that is done by developer in AWE. See, approval framework setup can be, the requirement can be of 2 types. One, that there is a PeopleSoft delivered functionality and we just need to configure it based on user requirement. For example, journals or vouchers, all those things are already set up or already delivered by PeopleSoft. We just need to understand the requirement of our organization and accordingly set the approval process. Another requirement can be that company came up with a completely new set of page that this is the way we want to capture transaction, and this is the kind of approval framework we need. So in that scenario, the application design will start from the scratch. I mean, we have to start with record, page, component, application package, providing the coding in the component, and then only we have to go for transaction registry page. So application developer will become the work of application developer in that scenario will increase to 40%. And in case if it is a delivered page, then the work of application developer will remain on the 20 to 25% side, considering that again depends that how much more involvement or work he is gonna do along with functional business analyst. Next, functional business analyst, who would be the key person for driving the whole implementation, will design approval framework for use within an application. So once application developer will done with the transaction registry page, a process ID will be generated, which can be further used by business analyst in designing the whole process. Then end user, which is also very important part of this approval framework design, because he is the one who will provide the details that what kind of configuration is required. So end user could be anyone. He could be the one, the head of the department, or the one who will be responsible for completing the transactions, or maybe from auditor perspective, or from seeing how many requests completed within a month or so. So he's the one who will tell how it is to be designed. So the clarity from end user perspective about the approval framework is very, very important. He's the one who will be who can act as a requester, approver, or reviewer, or who has understanding of all the various functions that end user need to perform. So we'll talk about design lifecycle on a very high level. It can be seen like this, that we talk about implementers. It starts with developers. They will configure register transaction page and provide process ID to analyst, who will gather all the requirement from end users and design approval process. Then he will send it for UAT, user acceptance testing, to requester and approver. They will do the testing, and based on the changes in requirement, it will go back to analyst. If the changes also include some customization in the application, then developer will perform it and work as a team to further send the second version to end users for testing purpose. So the cycle continue until they will get the satisfactory result or the final output. So as we discussed, we can say that approval framework can be configured, or the requirement could be of two types. One, that we just need to work on a delivered PeopleSoft page. In that scenario, we have to consider activate workflow, define user list, set up approval process. These three functions, which is more important. But in case of creating a new approval process, we have to understand that what is the whole setup design required for approval framework. I would say that if you know about creating a new approval process, then it is very easy to configure the delivered one, because you know end-to-end configuration cycle. So in this slide, we try to summarize all the steps required for creating a new approval process. Say we talked about expense approval workflow requirement, which is a very simple requirement where one person need to submit a transaction to provide what item, reason for expense and amount, and then just submit it. So for this very simple requirement, it will start with the developer developing a record page component menu folder. So just to categorize, this portion of the configuration is done on application designer. This part of the configuration is done from the front end. So developer will first create record page component menu folder, and then he will design transaction registry. Basically naming, connecting the, or I would say providing a process ID to this configuration. So this configuration will be named with the process ID. Then developer will go back and provide some codes. Some of the code is predefined. I mean, some of the code is always in the same shape. So we need to just make little bit changes here and there. Otherwise it is almost same. We just need to provide the process ID generated here in that code. So we need to put some code for approve, deny, submit, save, post change and post build, and hand over it to business analyst. So he will be having a process ID in hand, and from there onwards he will perform transaction configuration, provide generic template or create generic template. Generic templates will provide the email template and how to design it. This part, approval process setup, is the part where most of the configuration is done, and user list setup. So approval event handler, which is to design application package and application class, is optional. It is not mandatory, but if your application required some advanced requirement, then this part can be utilized to put some more code and to trigger some events in case of various events happening. For example, if you want particular event to occur when you click on submit button, so this part need to be coded accordingly. Let's see this very simple example of header level approval page. So there is an expense ID, approval status, amount, currency code, reason. There would be buttons approve, submit and deny. When you click submit, it will disappear, approve and deny will left, and this part appear, which shows that approval process has started. So we called it header level because for one expense ID only one request is submitted. This is another version of the same kind of configuration. It is a line level approval page. Here we can see that for the same asset ID or expense ID, we can have more than one item submitted for approval. So the requester can add as many requests he wanted, and individual requests can be completed or denied by the approver. So here you can see that every request will be considered as an individual request. However, everything is submitted under one expense request only. Let me take you into the system and show whatever we have discussed and how it is configured. Considering the time available with us, I will try to cover as much as possible. So we will see the configuration from the perspective of header level. Line level configuration is done, which is a little bit more complex in comparison to header level, but if the concept is clear, then again it is also very simple. The only thing additional is that we have to understand the scroll level configurations. It is not necessary that you should have technical background to configure it, because in most of the PeopleSoft delivered applications, you even need not to get into application designer to perform any steps. So let's try to add a new value. So this is a very simple page. Here the approval status is initial. Amount, I would say 100 USD currency. reason test, and submit. So when we submit it, we will notice that here we can see that the process is started and approval status changed to submitted, and how it will look like for a work list for an approver. For approver, he will get into his work list the item pending for his approval. So this is the request we just submitted. We will click on the link and approve or deny. Say he will approve. Here the status will change. I have taken a screenshot. So this kind of mails will be sent every time any particular action is taken. So this is our target. This whole flow should work. Let me quickly show you how line level approval shows, then we'll try to get into the configuration. So this is the line level page. Okay. So this is asset ID. Say 2 items we want to submit. When we click on submit, the process will submit this request, but both the items will be considered in separate manner. So if you notice, then asset ID with item name 1 and asset ID with item name 2. And if we will see it from the user's perspective, from the approver's perspective, it will look like this. Go to Worklist. This is the request that we have just submitted. Both the items are there for approval section. Say first one he want to approve. So it will show complete, and here it shows approved. And say the second one you want to deny. So second request is denied. So single request can be handled on a line level as well. Please notice that the approval status change, complete and denied. So this part of configuration is done on the application package level. So to start with the config, for understanding the flow, how it works or how it is considered, we will consider header level requirement that we have seen first. So from the application designer perspective, I will quickly show you how it is done. So first we create records for header, work record, having the buttons. There is a cross-reference record required, header record required, where all the required fields are there. Then we create a page. We design the page as per the requirement. Then we design a component and register this component. So that will give us the transaction page on the front end. Next, as per the flow, we have to create transaction registry. That is done. Please note that most of the configuration is done from enterprise components, approvals. And here these pages need to be configured or understood first. So first configuration will be transaction registry. First you need to add a new value and then create the value. So this is the one we configured. Here we have to add number of things to connect this process, to create this process ID. Basically it is the process ID is nothing but a name given to the backend configurations or backend design that we have done. So what we are connecting here, cross-reference table name, what kind of notification template we are going to use, what is the menu name, component name, package ID, header table name, header table field, which is the key field. So all those things, information provided here, and that will give a process ID. Up to this level, the work is done by application developer. If it is a delivered application, then the work will start from this page, register transactions. Now from here onward, work will be done by business analyst. So next what we need is to create transaction configuration. If I will go with this flow, we have seen till here. So this part where we need to add the code, I would be able to show you quickly. So this is the place where we provide people code. People code is simple, not complex. We just need to know what is there in the people code, why we are writing it, and need to change this part with the process ID name. Now we will see transaction configuration, generic template, process setup, and user list. So transaction configuration, before doing transaction configuration, we need to design generic template. So this is to be done from main menu, people tools, I guess it's workflow, notification, generic templates. So this is the place where we design the kind of mails we want to send to users. So for example, in case of when it is submitted, so this kind of mail will be sent. Following expense request submitted for approval. Here we provide the variable names. To design it, we also need to design SQL object, but that is not mandatory. We can design the message without SQL object as well. So this mail that I have shown you is based on that generic template we have designed here. So once we have all the generic templates done, we will go back to enterprise components, approvals, transaction configuration. Now we already know the process ID created from registered transaction page, so rest of the configuration will be done on that level only. Selected, provide approval user, and in various scenarios, in various events, which generic template need to be added or to be triggered, whether it to be triggered for both or only for requester. So all those things we can do here. Next configuration, which is approval process setup. So far whatever we have seen is straightforward. We don't have many variation in the configuration till that part. But this setup, approval process setup, is the page where 40% of the project time will be considered, because there are many options here. You have to understand it, and then only you can fulfill all the requirement of the user. So I will show you one example. This is the page. If you see, first thing that we notice that there are stages paths, and steps. Definition, alert criteria, definition, notification, timeout. So all those things together will help you to configure the approval framework based on user requirement. So admin role you can provide default process definition, whether auto approval required or not, route to requester. If I will click here, definition criteria, it will give you option to define this criteria in what scenario this particular approval framework should be triggered. Here you notice that we can provide monetary criteria or particular record field. So in the header we have added field on the test, on the reason, on the currency. It can have many fields based on the requirement. On different field you can put required criteria that if this field will be equal to this thing, then only particular approval step should be considered, etc., etc. All those things we can do it. Not only it can be done on the definition option level, it can be done on the stage level, path level, and step level separately. Here if you notice that we have source dynamic and static, so it will give us the strength to design the approval process in a way that the process itself will select that which approvals are required. So in that scenario you need to design source as dynamic. Timeout options is something where you provide escalation metrics that in case after that many hours which user should be reassigned, all those things. Definition notification is again that in different, this notification we have already provided. This is another place where we can design it. If you click on this approval process viewer, you will see a nice view of how your approval workflow engine is looking. So stage 1, path 1, step 1. Even you can add it further steps here itself. At this level we provide information whether it's a self-approval, route to requester, how many approvals required per step, one or all the approvals, all those things we can provide it here. So this approval framework is not only knowing the things but practice as well. More you practice, it will become easier for you to understand the requirements and implement it. Let's go back to the slides, what we have now. So we talk about header level application and we have seen how to configure. One thing left, just quickly let me cover that as well. User list setup. So here we provide the user list. This can be set up here. If I will open this user list that I have defined in the approval process setup, you will notice that we have option to provide user list source. It could be role, SQL definition, query, application class. Role is nothing but the security role created in PeopleSoft. SQL definition, you can define an SQL object where you can provide various conditions in various scenarios which users to be considered. Query, you can create a PS query, or application class level you can also define. So this is the path where you provide user list setup. Okay, let's go back to the slide. Header level we discussed, line level I have shown you. So all the configuration is similar but will be little bit more complex in case of line level approval page, but the whole flow and setups design will remain almost same. this page we discussed. So approval request page, basically you first need to define a flow chart. Accordingly, you can go to approval process setup page and design it. So it can be very simple as well as it can be very complex based on user requirement. Journal approval page. So this is something which is already delivered by PeopleSoft. So journal approval, when you create a new journal, then it will give you option to approval. You go to approval page and click submit, and it will be submitted in this way. So if what we have seen in the header level page, it is quite similar. It will be very simple once you know the whole process, how it is designed. And the good thing about approval framework is it is equally applicable in all the PeopleSoft module. It is same whether it is HRMS, it is financials or supply chain. The background and the fundamentals remain same. So if you know the approval framework, you can apply it in any of the various fields. So it could be HRMS or financial, wherever approval framework will remain same. And this is the page where approval process setup is done for journal approval. So let me give you a trick which will help you in identifying which approval process setup is contributing to the delivered PeopleSoft. So if I go to journals, manage journal approval. What is the process ID here for this JL journal approval page? We want to check, we simply do Shift Control J. This will give me the component name, page name, and generally this will be the name of the process ID as well, or little bit around this. So if I know the name journal approval, I can go back to enterprise components, approvals, and go to approval process setup. In the process ID, try to search something related to journal. So by the name you will know that GL journal approval is the one that is delivered by PeopleSoft for that particular page. And then you can, if you have idea, then you can configure the required your user requirement for journal page. Yeah. So this is about GL journal approval page. There's another page, ChartField request page, which is a complex level of the same complex level application of the same functionality. This is something provided by PeopleSoft in version 9.2 only. Those who are from financial background knows that we have master data in the system which require a lot of ChartField request setups, account, product, customer type, and how it is performed, that might require various approvals for creating a new account. But before 9.2 it was happening in the mails. I mean, somebody requested, then it went to someone else to approve, and then once all the approvals done, then only it will be created in the system. But now in version 9.2, what PeopleSoft provided, that you can submit the request in the system itself, and from the help of approval framework, various approvers can approve the request in the system itself, and once it is approved thoroughly, all the approvals are there, it will be created as a fresh account in the system. So there is no gap, there is no chances of error of recreating the account in the system. So whatever requested and approved will be created in the system without user intervention. So that will help to reduce the errors and improve and speed up the process. That's all I have in this presentation. We have discussed in the introduction part, we discussed about approval framework. We talked about various usage and functionalities. We talked about the key roles who are involved in implementation and should know about approval framework that will help them in their roles. We talked about design life cycle, how it works. We talked about header level and line level configurations. And then we have seen in the system how it is configured and what kind of configuration to be done. And you guys might have noticed that most of the configurations are done from the front end. So it is easier to learn, but with practice it will become more simpler to fulfill user requirement in this area. Then we talked about journal approval and ChartField request page. Based on the time permit, we get into the details. That's all I have. Thank you for your time. Prashant?
Yeah, thank you so much. Arnav, that was really nice today, and hopefully everyone liked it. So if you have any questions or if you want to give any feedback, do type in the chat window, and we'll take those up, and Arnav is going to answer those one by one. We have got so much questions. We are also getting so much nice comments. Awesome presentation. Thank you. Very nice presentation. Yes, sounds good. And don't forget to download the free approval framework guide link. I'm just going to show you that link. So before I show you that, I have something else for you. Because you guys are really interested in approval framework, that's why you showed up for this session. So, and if you want to learn more, we have something for you, and that is a full-fledged approval framework training. In the chat window, when I was monitoring the chat, I saw a couple of questions about, so this presentation, what is the People Tools version? What is the application version that was this presentation built on? So I want to tell you the presentation as well as this training is built on Tools 8.55 and Application 9.2, which is the latest one. So whatever you learn will be the latest. So let's see what is covered in this training. So there are multiple sessions in this training, and we'll start with the introduction of framework, then we'll give you some examples. We'll create a folder, because as Arnav discussed, this training or setup of approval framework requires involvement of developers, involvement of functionals, and involvement of business analysts. So the different group of people who are involved. So this training will help you cover from scratch everything which is needed from developer to a business analyst. All the things will be covered in here. Then we will go for session 4, 5, 6, which is more towards the development area, in which you can create the pages, you will create the AWE components or all the other objects which are needed. Then you will learn about how to configure transaction registry, what is the overview of transaction configuration. In session 9, we'll discuss the setup of transaction configuration, and we'll also look at generic templates. When we go towards the middle part of the training, we have sessions which are more focused on approval framework. With these sessions, if you, let's say you're not a developer, like many, we know, we looked at your comments in the chat window, many of you are not developers, so you do not know how to code, right? For those things, this step-by-step instructions will provide you the people code, will provide you the project, so everything will be there for you. The only hurdle between you and your first approval framework design is just not doing it, because we will provide you all the resources that you need from scratch. So when we go session 14, you see this is people code for app packages. Even you will be able to use Gmail as SMTP server. It will show you how you can use it in case you want to test all the process on a demo environment in your home, and you do not want to use your organization's SMTP servers. You can use Gmail, and you will learn in this how to use Approval monitor. What is approval monitor? How do I monitor approval process? How everything is going on? You will learn about that. You will also learn how to send notifications and how to use the escalation manager. You will see how to define dynamic approval. Again, an important concept, dynamic approvals. So in this training, you will learn that. You will also learn about ChartField request and approval. So these, at the end, in session number 19 and especially in session number 20, there is a complete end-to-end configuration for line level AWE. Line level AWE, if I understood correctly from Arnav, it's very complex. And with this a big video, you will learn everything about how to configure these things. So this is just a brief of what's going to be covered in the training. And when you get access to the full content, you will have instant access, lifetime access to the training content. So you can watch those lectures, you can read the text, you can watch those videos, you can take the quiz right now. So you'll get access to everything. This is how, when you log into your training platform, this is how everything appears. So you can simply log in and watch the videos and everything is ready for you right there. You can also take quiz. We have quiz for you. So after you complete particular session, you can actually go and take the quiz, because you will only know what you learned when you take a test. And we have this test for you. These tests will test your basics and will also test your understanding of the logics. And based on that, you can also see your score. When you mark or take a quiz, it will show you what you scored. If you have any doubts, most likely with the lecture, those doubts would be cleared. But if not, then our team is always there to help you. I've seen, Arnav has been working with us for so long. We have seen that he truly emphasizes on students and take extra effort to, clear out their doubts. You'll also get complete configuration with live examples. Like in today's session, you saw Arnav was able to demonstrate not only the presentation part, also he demonstrated using a PeopleSoft application. Similarly, in this training, you will have full step-by-step demonstration which you can actually copy, as in you can open the video in either in an iPad. You can also access the training content on your tablets, and if you want to do on your laptop, you can simply watch the video, follow what the trainer is doing, do at your end. So it makes it quite easy for you to follow the whole process. So this training is designed for both technical and functional. As I mentioned, you will have step-by-step direction of how to create a component or any other PeopleSoft objects. And we will provide you with the guides. We will provide you with the people code. So you don't have to write anything. We'll give you the people code. Simply copy paste that people code in your project, and then you are able to set up your first approval framework. And below each of these PDFs, like what are the files we are giving you, you can actually download those. There will be a download link, so you can download those files and print it or copy paste it. So whatever you want to do, you can do with these files. Other benefits of joining this training are, because Arnav has a lot of experience in PeopleSoft, like many of you guys also have, and you know that with experience you get something which you cannot get by learning. If you go to a training, you won't learn as much as the experience will help you learn. And those best practices framework. As I mentioned, with the bonus, you will also get a video on how you can configure Gmail for SMTP server, also notification dynamic workflow, which is considered to be a kind of advanced topic, but Arnav is providing that to you as well. He always provides the best content to all the students. And not only that, so if I were you, I attend a training, I watched all the videos, I have questions, what now? Okay, I'm getting in touch with support. But if you want more, if you have some specific questions, you want those to be answered by a trainer. So Arnav is there for you. So if we have special webinar bonus for tonight, so if you register for this training tonight, you will get 2 bonus live Q&A call with Arnav. It's not a recorded video, it's not an email, it's live Q&A. So you will be invited to a Q&A call with him. He will share his ideas. You can ask your questions. If you are facing some issues which were not resolved, or if you have something that you want to set up in your organization and need some help with that, Arnav will be there to help you. Not only Arnav, or other team members will be there to assist you with that as well. Can you quickly mute? Okay, thank you. So many things I have told you about the training. So let's see what exactly it comes down to. So the regular price of this training is $199. Most of you have never heard about this training, right? But today, the webinar special price is $149 because you guys took action to join this session. So what you can do is you can register for this training, and this special bonus or special price will expire on 16th March, Thursday. So if you want to take benefit of this special price is going to expire. So as you can see, and after that, Thursday, the price is going to go up. And not only that, we are going to add more content to this training because, as you know, every day there are new things provided by PeopleSoft. With new releases, new features have been added, and those new features will be added to this training, and that's why the price of the training will go up. And also, if you register today, you will get, as I mentioned, 2 Q&A live call with Arnav. Okay, what if you don't like the training, right? What if you join but you feel like it is not what you need, right? We are providing you with a 14-day 100% money back guarantee. So you can say after, let's say, 14 days, 13 days, you simply say, no, it's not the training I need. It was not up to the mark, or it was not what I needed. Just let us know. We will completely refund everything for you, so you do not have to worry about anything. This is the money back guarantee that we are giving. It's because for us, your satisfaction is important. If you do not like the training, we do not want anything from you. We just want you to learn, and we do not want to have any hurdle between you and your learning. The only thing is that you need to be dedicated, you want to learn, and this is the platform that we are providing you to learn. If you are interested, simply go to this URL, which is peoplesoftutorial.com/AWE, and you will be able to register for this training. You will have instant access to all the training content, all the videos, all the quiz, all the downloadable material. Everything will be there for you. Simply go to peoplesoftutorial.com/AWE. In the meanwhile, you go to this. We can also post that link in the chat window. I can request my team to post that in the chat window. And I'll also guide you to the free bonus. So those of you who are waiting for the free bonus, you can simply download it. It's free for everyone. You don't have to pay anything. Simply, it's a thank you gift from ours. Because you joined today's session, go to this URL, which is peoplesoftutorial.com/AWE guide, and you can download this guide, and it will help you, create your approval framework. Even if you don't want to join the training, that's totally okay, because it's specialized training for anyone who wants to have a good, strong understanding. But if you just want to play around or just want to see how things are set up, you can download this free guide. Again, I will request my team to put this URL in the chat window. And coming back to the training again, so this is the training which covers all the aspects of approval framework. You saw the training course content. Also, when you will go to this URL, you will be able to see in detail what are the topics that are covered. So if you are looking for course content, go to this URL and you will be able to see the course content as well. And with this, we also give you 14-day money back guarantee, which I think is really good, because nowadays, if you don't like something, you should not pay for it. That's what we believe. And if you are 100% satisfied, it's good. If you're not, then we definitely want to, refund everything that you have paid. And also, in the meanwhile, some people want to buy, we can take up some of the questions that were posted in the chat window. So Arnav, we might need you. So I'm gonna go over the questions.
So one of the question I got is related to if initially the approvers are managers, directors, and we set status as pending manager and pending director in the initial code. In the future, if they add assistant director, then the status should be pending assistant director. How do we achieve this without changing the code? So with this new approval framework, approval workflow engine, it is very easy to add more approvers or change the current approval process. We need not to change any code. We need not to go into application designer. We just need to go to approval process setup page and add another step in between. So in one of the slide I have shown you stages, path and steps. So we need to add one more steps in this particular scenario. One point here to notice is that once you use particular process setup, then if you want to make any change, it has to be done on a different effective date, because the previous process setup is already used for some of the transactions, so we cannot change it because that is also having some background like that on that for that transaction this setup was used. So you need to create a new one, but just to create a new one with the new effective date and make the required changes.
Okay, before we go to the next question, I'm getting really nice feedback. Excellent and simple concept discussed in 1 hour. Thank you, Manohar. And so I have also another comment. Can we get this recorded session? Yes, you will get the recorded session. We are going to send you the replay once it is processed. And another comment from Vivekanand. It really gives us an idea to get started with the whole picture in mind. Thank you for the session. Okay, so here's a question from King Charles. So what is the process to set up and approve new supplier request?
So as I mentioned that what we see that supplier request or any request, we see all the requests in the form of transactions. So it could be your journal, supplier request, all those things setup is done in the same way whatever we have shown in the presentation. So you just need to, if it is a delivered process, you just need to know the process ID, that how it is done. That that free bonus that we have provided will help you to understand how can you get your process ID for any delivered PeopleSoft application. So in this case supplier request. But if it is a new process, then you need to create a transaction registry page, and from there onwards you can perform the configuration. So yes, definitely the same process will be applicable for supplier request as well.
Thank you. Now next question is from Supriya. Are you sharing a manual on setup discussed in the session today? So as we mentioned, you will get a recording of this video, and also if you download the free guide, which is, I think the link is already in the chat window, that will also help you with the approval framework. So let's move to the next question. So I have a question from Samir. What was the reason of doing development for the example shown, or it was just to make us understand?
Yeah, definitely it is just to make you understand. So why we, if I will start with an example of existing PeopleSoft delivered application, that will give only half of the picture. We might not know what is happening behind the scene, how it is designed in the system. So this is the best way and the simplest example that you give, that will give you the whole picture, the complete idea. So both the examples, header level and line level, are specially chosen and designed in a way to explain the complete concept end to end. I mean from developer perspective as well as from business analyst and users perspective.
Yeah. So the next question is from Mohit. So before I go to the next question, I just want to remind you about the URL, which is peoplesoftutorial.com/AWE. If you want to register for this training, which comes with a 14-day money-back guarantee, go to this URL and simply register. The special price is only valid till Thursday. So after that, price is going to go up. So let's take the next question. How can approval reassign its work list item? Yeah, I didn't understand this question. This is
So I would say that from approver's perspective, I don't think that we have option we are giving option to approver to um, reassign the approvals pending on his work list. What will be the requirement in this scenario? The requirement is that if one approver is not approving and another approver is approving, then it should be considered approved. So this requirement should be captured during the design process, and the business analyst can design it in a way that more than one approver will be added in the same step, and if one of them or two of them will approve, it will be considered approved. Another thing, that approver can request to admin person, he will reassign it to some other approver.
okay. I have another question from Joe. Can these approval workflows work with the mobile apps? That is, can people in field receive approvals in the field via their phones?
Yes, definitely. So the process will remain same. There is further advanced feature that where even person can approve or deny the request from the mobile app or from the mails also. But that is that is another level of understanding required for EMC. But definitely it can be done.
Okay. I have a question from Primo. How much the training and how long it takes? So the price of the training for till Thursday is 149. After that, price is going to go up. How long it takes? It's on demand, which means when you register for this training, you will have instant access to all the training material. It's only up to you how long you want to take it to finish it. We are still giving you 14-day money-back guarantee, and if you register because of this webinar, you will get 2 bonus Q&A calls with Arnav. So next question is, let me scroll down. I'm getting so many good comments for you. Okay. Primer says it's worth it. Okay. So Harika says, do you have any other webinars? Yeah, we plan to do other webinars. If you are in our email list, you will definitely get notifications for those. I have a question from Primer. Are we using the same people code for header and line level?
So we need to understand that header level doesn't include scroll level. Line level includes scroll level. I mean, we are using two different tables within the same page in case of line level. So the coding will change a little bit because we have to deal with the scroll level fields in that scenario. So people code won't be completely same. The structure of the people code will be same, but some part of it will change.
Another question is, do you have any information about fluid approvals specifically? So let me add to it. So like when you say fluid approval, you are actually talking about approval framework and also using the PeopleSoft Fluid. So right now this training, if correct me, I'm not wrong, this is mostly covered, with the demo version of PeopleSoft. So it's mostly on the desktop version that you can do, but we have other PeopleSoft products which will help you deploy Fluid applications, which you can use to create Fluid, and you can integrate both to create your Fluid approvals. But this course does not specifically is focused on Fluid.
Yeah. But I guess the basic configuration should not change whether we are using with Fluid or desktop.
Okay. I have another question from Bryant. Will the course cover delivered AWE applications as well?
So to explain the concept of delivered application, I have taken one session where we are discussing ChartField request and journal approval. Those two examples I have taken into detail in two different sessions in the training, where we explained and understand that how it is designed. And once you understand the basic configuration, it will be very easy to pick up any of the delivered functionality. Yes, we have covered two examples in the sessions also for delivered PeopleSoft.
Okay. I have another question, and firstly I would like to thank Roxanne. She has been really helping me with sending those questions directly to me. I know there are so many questions, but she has been directly sending those questions to me. Thank you, Roxanne. So the next question is, we are using PeopleSoft 9.0 and tools 8.54. We do not know yet when we are going to convert to 9.2, 8.54. Will the webinar still be applicable?
So I guess Prashant, you can check if it is possible, but I have tested it on 9.2 version. Approval framework is available there. For 9.0, I guess we need to check and get back on that.
Yeah, but I do believe it's going to work. There might be some new features added with the new application, but I also feel the same way. We can check on that and let you know. So there is a general question. Pooja asks, like, any training available for technical topics like BI and IB? We do have some technical trainings available if you go to academy.skillswine.com, or even if you go to this URL, and over there you will be able to look at all the other training options that are available. Another question I'm getting from Venkat is, can I ask a question outside to this training? Yeah, sure, you can ask that question and we'll take them as well. So another question is from Sarat. If we register for this training, can I get the recorded sessions and can I access when I get a chance? Okay, so let me mention that again. Everything is recorded already. It's there for you to access. You can access it from anywhere in the world as long as you have internet connection. This is a lifetime access, which means lifetime. So it doesn't matter today you are in one country or one place. If you change devices, if you use a laptop, if you use an iPad, whatever you want to use, you just need to have access to internet, and you will be able to have, you know, all the training. You can access all the training material right now. So if you register right now, you can start the training right now and, you know, maybe finish it in a couple of days, right? So you can do that as well, and you will have all the access. So the question from Venkat is, are you going to have PTF in coming days? For those of you who don't know, PTF is PeopleSoft Test Framework. Yes, Venkat, we plan to provide you with some learning material on that as well. We might be doing some free webinars as well. Okay, Venkat is also asking about, I'm interested in PeopleSoft Date Manager. Yes, for all the, you know, if you want to look at other training or learning material that we have, we definitely recommend you to go to peoplesoftutorial.com. Firstly, there you will not only paid content, you will have a lot of free articles, right? There are a lot of free blog content that you can read, and that might be helpful for you. Besides that, you will have, you know, other links to books that we have and few free and paid training material, and PUM is also one of those. If you go there, it's already available for you, the latest. Okay, I have another question which is more specific to the accessing the training. How long can I access the sessions, or I can download to my local system and access when time permits? So as I answered the first question already, you have lifetime access to the content. When we talk about downloading, we do not allow you to download the videos to the system. And there is one major reason for that. That reason is, as we just mentioned, we keep on adding content. And the only way that we can provide you the latest content is to keep it stored at one location. So you do not have to worry about that whether my team has already updated the content or not. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about disk space. You don't have to worry about the videos were on my different laptop or I am on iPad. So there are few of the benefits of having all lifetime access to online resource. That's why we have it, so you can use that. Another question. Yeah, there are so many questions. Nice. We love the webinar. We have so many questions. For those of you are still interested, before I go to next question, want to mention you can go to peoplesofttutorial.com/AWE. Even if you're slightly interested, I would say go and register, because we are giving you 100% money back guarantee. If you, after doing few lectures, if you, let's say, did 5, 6, 7 or whatever, you did a few lectures and you think no, it's not the right training, just drop an email to us and we'll help it. We'll take it and we'll simply refund everything to you. So let's take another question. Do you also do webinar for integration broker? Yes, I think we did some webinars for integration broker like a couple of years ago, and yeah, it's been a while, and thank you for mentioning that. Actually, we are now planning to do webinars on so many new topics as well, like cloud manager is there, fluid anyways, it's there, and so many new things which are coming up. We want PeopleSoft community to be aware of all the new changes, so they are very good at their job. They can be productive in their job and always updated with what's new thing happening. So we plan to do that. If you are in our email list, you'll definitely get those notifications. If you want your friends to join, you can either send them to the webinar URL or ask them to join our email list. So these are some of the ways to get in touch with us. I have a question from King Charles. I also want this kind of training for inventory, APs, trading, strategic sourcing. Right now we have a training for finance which covers some of the modules, not like, as you mentioned, I don't think strategic sourcing is covered in that. Arnav is again the trainer for that training, so Arnav can confirm if strategic sourcing is there, but I don't think it is, right?
Hi, Prashant, this time I'm planning to, we have already covered procure to pay and order to cash cycles in financial supply chain. The training that we did last year. This year I am trying to add asset management and sourcing as well. So it won't be the complete module coverage, but in a complete flow, how it can be utilized, that part I guess we will be able to cover this time.
Okay, so thank you. And now I have another question from Pooja. What are the charges for FSCM training? So Pooja, this question I would say drop an email to support and someone will be able to give you some details. If not, if you want to know right now, again I would say go to academy.skillswine.com. Those trainings are already listed there, so you can not only see the price, you can actually see the content. It's, I think, more than 24 hours of content. Yeah, Arnav, you did a great job with that FSCM training. 24 hours of content. It's really good, filled with assignments, quiz. Thank you so much. Okay, so many people are interested about knowing about other training material. So when are you planning to post AM training, asset management? Is it not part of our existing training, Arnav? Can you confirm?
Yeah, asset management part wasn't covered in the last year's training, but this year I will cover that part as well. Okay. So, yeah.
So there you have the answer, sir. So there are a few more comments. Thank you. It was a nice session. Wow, we have been answering the question for past 25 minutes. Nice. So guys, if you have questions, you can type those chat window. We are going to close the session very soon. You can also drop an email to us. If you have any questions, send us to us and we'll reply those questions. And also, if you have any other question not related to approval framework, not related to anything what we discussed today, anything that you might be facing an issue, right, in your organization, you're working on some topic and you are confused or not able to find any helpful resource, send it to us. we will try to find an answer for you. We have a team of multiple PeopleSoft consultants who actually are working on the projects. So it's not like we don't train. We are actually working on projects, and our team has a lot of experience. So someone may definitely have faced the similar issues that you might have faced, and so we can help you with those as well. If any other question you may have, just simply drop an email, contact us. We would like to be in touch with you all the time, because we want to give back to our PeopleSoft community in that ways. And so let's see, I'm just scrolling through. I may not have missed any question, I think. But if I have missed any question, please, I apologize for that. Just drop that question again in the chat window. And if you haven't downloaded that free guide, that is in the URL is already there. Let me post that URL again. That is peoplesoftutorial.com/AWE guide. Just posted that URL again in the chat window. You can download that free guide. And the URL for the training I have again posted in the chat window, which is this. So this is the URL for the training. Yeah, Roxanne is so dedicated. She just posted me another question that has this been answered? Yes, Roxanne, I saw again looking at the question. This has already been answered. Thank you so much again. So guys, we are going to close the session in a couple of minutes. If you have any questions, drop in the chat window or drop an email to us. If you are already in process of buying this training, I think some of you have already bought it, because I was getting some notifications. Yes, some of you have already bought it. Nice. And if those of you who haven't bought it, this is the URL you can go to. We'll also send you a replay and in the email, and hopefully in that email you will have another chance to buy this training. But remember, this offer is going to expire on Thursday 12 PST is going to expire. So if you are interested in joining this training, you can. Some of the questions that we usually get is, okay, so I work for an organization, and in my team there are 4 or 5 people who want to join this training, right? And how do I get a discount? So yes, we do have relationship with multiple organizations, and we do provide discount for bulk training purchase. And a lot of our clients are either state governments or educational institutions, financial institutions. So many of them are there, and they do buy training in bulk. So anyone who wants to know how to get in touch with our team, the best way is to drop an email to support@peoplesoftutorial.com. I've also posted that in the chat window. So if you want to make a note of this email ID, you can do it. Drop any question related to training, anything related to today's webinar, any another issue that you might be facing, or just say hi. Drop an email, say, hey, hi guys, you're doing. We love to get those emails from you guys. So it's just a means to get in touch with our team.